If you think you've seen it all, think again. These extreme horror videos take things to the next level. Possessions, shadowy figures, and eerie entities lurking where they shouldn't be.
Hi!
Are you brave enough to watch until the end? Let's find out together. A man had just finished building a treehouse in the nearby woods and decided to spend his first night there, but sleep didn't last long. He was jolted awake by a strange noise. A woman wailing in the distance. When he looked down, he saw her pacing back and forth, crying uncontrollably. Shocked, he called out to her, and that's when she looked up. Instead of answering, she began cackling like a witch.
Hi!
The chilling sound echoing through the trees. Many believed she was possessed by an evil spirit, while others feared she was a witch luring her prey into the woods. Levitating horror. A terrifying clip began circulating online, leaving viewers in shock. It showed a woman lying on a bed, visibly distressed, while a man, likely a priest, read passages from the Bible. The uploader claimed this was an exorcism. At first, the woman resisted and thrashed. Then the unthinkable happened. Her body lifted from the bed, rising toward the ceiling before spinning midair. The priest continued reading, but his strength faltered, crushed by the evil energy in the room. Moments later, he collapsed, fainting from exhaustion. The video ended abruptly, leaving chilling uncertainty about what became of the possessed woman or the priest who tried to save her. Staircase haunting. A group of friends explored an abandoned building, filming their late-night adventure. As they reached the emergency staircase, something odd caught their eyes. Huddled together, they peeked through the door and froze. Standing on the stairs was a long-haired woman in a white robe. The shaky clip made it hard to see, but her face appeared completely black, almost non-existent. Panic surged through the group, and they bolted out of the building without looking back. Folks online were left wondering, was this truly the ghost of a faceless lady, or just an eerie illusion created by shadows and fear? Demonic ritual. This bizarre footage went viral, sending shivers down everyone's spine. A group of people gathered around burning candles in what looked like a ritual. At the center was a woman who didn't seem herself, almost as if she were possessed. Behind her, a shadowy figure appeared, its hands gripping the woman, and it had twisted horns on its head. Many called it the devil itself. Other women stood around the candles, moving their hands in strange gestures, as if aiding the summoning. Netizens claimed this was no ordinary gathering, but a demon's ritual, one that might have gone too far, accidentally inviting something sinister into them. Cave witch. These men stumbled upon something chilling deep inside a dark cave. Sitting in complete silence was a woman clutching a strange handmade doll. At first it seemed odd, but the longer they watched, the more disturbing it became.
Ya Allah.
In many black magic rituals, isolation is said to be necessary to connect with jinn. No light, no speech, no human contact. That doll she held wasn't a toy. It was believed to be a magical vessel, representing a victim to harm or control from afar. The woman, now being called the witch, never spoke. As their flashlight hit her pale face, her presence grew even more unsettling, leaving the men shaken as they quickly backed away. Mirror demon. A woman noticed her friend acting strangely and decided to record her. The friend stood frozen in front of a mirror, staring into it as if trapped in a trance. At first, nothing seemed unusual, but then the recording revealed something chilling. A terrifying face appeared in the reflection, one that didn't belong to either of them. The figure looked distorted, almost inhuman, like something straight out of a horror film. Terrified, the woman immediately stopped filming. People who saw the footage believed her friend had fallen under demonic possession, with the mirror revealing the entity behind it. Forest entity. Trekking through the woods at night, a couple of friends had an encounter that still haunts them. As they made their way down the dark path, they noticed movement in the bushes. Shining their flashlight, they called out, thinking it was just someone lost.
¡A la madre!
The figure had its back toward them, long, silky hair flowing like a woman's, but it didn't respond, only rocked back and forth, almost as if chanting or reading something. Suddenly, it turned, revealing a twisted gray face unlike anything human. Some believed it was casting a spell, others swore it was a witch or even a demon. Whatever it was, one thing was certain: this was no ordinary person.
¿Quién eres?
Doorway face. A man filmed a routine vlog and later, while re-watching the footage, saw something that chilled him. For a moment, a pale face, only the head, peered over the top of his daughter's doorway and stared directly into the camera.
The fifth time I had watched the video, I noticed something in the corner of the room. So I screenshotted it and I just zoomed in on it. My heart just dropped.
He had already been sensing a strange presence in the house for days and believed the room held a history. Convinced the apparition was the spirit of the home's former owner, who had died in that room, he grew increasingly uneasy. The clip spread online, with viewers split between skeptics and those certain the house was haunted. Grave cry. A cemetery guard had heard a woman crying every night and finally called investigators to check it out. They arrived and searched the grounds, finding nothing at first. But as they pushed deeper among the tombstones, a flashlight beam fell on a figure standing beside a grave. She wore a white dress and her hair hung down, almost hiding her face.
Hã? Lucas.
Something tells me we don't want to see that face up close. They ran from the scene without looking back. Locals later whispered the voice had belonged to a restless spirit, a woman warning strangers away, while others said it was simply a prank that had gone too far.
Nossa, mas que negócio tenebroso, velho.
Witchy hands. A bizarre clip made its way online, leaving viewers unsettled. It showed a woman sitting on the ground, but if you looked closely, her hand seemed unusually distorted. According to legend, witches appear ordinary at first glance, until you notice something off about their hands or feet. The uploader even claimed he had witnessed this woman fall from a flying broom, suggesting she was stalling by chatting with onlookers who had seen her. Theories spread fast. Some were convinced she was a witch caught off guard, while skeptics dismissed it as nothing more than a staged hoax. Still, the footage raised eyebrows. Haunted road. A man drove down a lonely stretch of road when his truck suddenly broke down. He filmed himself explaining what had happened and checked beneath the vehicle. To his shock, he saw a pair of bare feet hovering on the far side, above the ground. He walked around to the other side, but there was no one there. The feet remained visible only from that angle, eerily floating and refusing to touch the road. Locals who later watched the footage said the highway was haunted by an evil spirit. The man wasn't sure what he'd seen, but he wasn't going back.
Hey, stop aquí!
Haunted factory. An explorer and his friends entered an abandoned, crumbling factory and got the scare of a lifetime. As they wandered through the broken halls, he looked up and froze. On top of a massive, rusted tank stood a woman.
Another one there again. What is that?
Unnaturally pale, staring down at them. Panic set in, but the horror wasn't over. When he swung his flashlight to the side, he was jump-scared by the sudden appearance of a man's face right beside him. Terrified, he whipped the light around, but the figure had already vanished. Whatever was happening inside that factory, one thing was clear. It was definitely haunted. Twisted stalker. A group of friends exploring a remote area of their village got the scare of their lives. While inspecting an old building from the outside, something horrifying appeared. It was a woman in a white dress, but everything about her was wrong. She was crawling on all fours, her body twisted unnaturally backward. Her skin looked gray, almost decaying, and her eyes glowed a ferocious red. To their horror, she began following them through the darkness, her movements jerky and unnatural. The friends didn't wait to see what would happen next. They bolted, convinced they had just encountered something far from human. This wasn't the only time the group encountered her. In another clip, she was spotted near the woods, crouched low, but this time moving on her 2 feet. Her long black hair swung wildly from side to side as she crept forward.
Are they, Nick?
Whoa, it's moving so weird, Tessa.
Viewers were horrified, convinced this was no ordinary woman. Many claimed she was a skinwalker taking on human form, stalking the innocent through the night. Whatever she was, one thing was certain: she was hunting, and she wasn't hiding it. Nightwalker. A woman who suffered from sleepwalking installed a CCTV camera to track her nightly movements. One night, the footage revealed something far beyond sleepwalking. She wandered into the dining room, sat at the table, and bowed her head as if part of a ritual. Then the impossible occurred. The other 3 chairs slid back on their own, like invisible guests were joining her. Moments later, an object on the table slid toward her. The motion detector caught activity in another room, and suddenly, the dining room door slammed open and shut. The woman didn't flinch. She simply stared to her right, then slowly lifted her head to face the camera with a blank expression. Viewers believed this wasn't sleepwalking, but possession. Trance possession. Recently, a chilling clip from Bali left people genuinely shocked and disturbed. It showed a woman acting strangely, her movements erratic, her eyes distant. Moments later, she did something truly unsettling, almost as if she were under the control of something unseen. People questioned whether she was genuinely possessed by a spirit or demon, or if this was part of a hidden ritual. In many cultures, such trance-like states had long been linked to possession by demons or jinn, adding weight to the mystery. Some were convinced it was paranormal evidence, while others argued it was ritualistic. Either way, the footage left an unnerving mark. Red Spectre. Visiting cemeteries at night is no joke, and 2 friends found out the hard way. While documenting their eerie trek, the camera suddenly caught a figure standing not too far away. It was a woman in red traditional clothing, her pale white skin glowing faintly in the darkness. The men froze, fear washing over them, before quickly backtracking out of the cemetery. Some people believe this was the ghost of a woman long passed away, while others speculated it might have been something far darker. Either way, the encounter left everyone unsettled. What do you think they saw? Ghastly face. 3 friends enjoying a ride at an amusement park decided to film their fun, but the footage revealed something chilling. As the camera focused on the girl sitting behind the other 2, her face suddenly shifted. For a moment, it looked rotten and gray, like a ghostly zombie staring back. Just as quickly, she returned to normal, leaving her friends shocked at what they saw. Some argued it had to be a camera glitch or a filter, but if that were true, why didn't it affect the others? Was this possession or something darker? I'll leave it for you to decide. Night encounter. A man taking a late-night walk around his countryside neighborhood learned the hard way why such walks can be dangerous. As he rounded a corner, he spotted a woman sitting alone. Thinking she needed help, he approached but instantly froze. Her face looked completely decayed, her hair ragged, and she wore a battered red dress as if she had just crawled out of a grave. The air grew heavier with every second, and the sight was too much to bear. The man didn't wait to see what she would do. He bolted, convinced he had crossed paths with the dead. Midnight terror. This bizarre clip was recorded in the middle of a street at night, where a woman was seen stumbling barefoot. She clutched a stuffed toy in one hand, her face painted completely white, giving off an unnerving presence. At one point, she appeared to be arguing with someone who wasn't there, even tugging at the toy as though in a struggle. The strange behavior grew so unsettling that the cameraman quickly fled, later claiming he felt a dark and sinister energy coming from her. Online, opinions were divided. While some believed it was demonic possession, others suggested she might have been suffering from a mental condition. Cursed woman. A strange clip that circulated online showed a pedestrian spotting a woman acting oddly on the curb. Curious, he began recording. She seemed to be speaking to something invisible, or perhaps to herself, but there was something deeply unsettling about her presence. Her hair was ragged, and when she turned toward him, her skin appeared ghostly pale. Without warning, she bolted straight at the man, charging like someone possessed. The footage spread quickly, with many in the comments comparing her to a Japanese legend, the woman who carved eerie smiles into the faces of her victims. Hopefully, the man managed to escape unharmed. Haunted well. A woman exploring a remote area stumbled upon an old well hidden in the ground. Curious, she began recording and leaned closer to peer inside. At first, it seemed abandoned, just darkness echoing back at her. But then, her camera revealed something chilling. There was someone down there. The figure was hard to make out in the shadows until it suddenly looked up, its eyes glowing unnaturally bright. The woman screamed and bolted from the scene, leaving her camera rolling. Viewers later speculated she had interrupted something sinister, with many convinced it was a witch caught mid-ritual deep inside the well. Hola? Midnight Witch. Strange clips have been circulating online, claiming to show a supposed witch wandering the streets of Mexico City. She had been spotted on several occasions, always dressed entirely in black and holding a single lit candle. Locals warned that she was dangerous, though no one knew who she really was. In the clips, she could be seen walking slowly, muttering a series of strange words in what sounded like another language. Many believed they were spells. Witnesses claimed she usually appeared after 1 a.m., performing eerie rituals with candles and leaving small offerings behind. Whether she was truly a witch or just someone feeding into old folklore, the mystery left viewers deeply unsettled. Cursed cemetery. One night, a man decided to visit the most haunted cemetery in Indonesia, a place locals claimed had been cursed by the vengeful spirit of a woman. According to legend, she appeared at midnight, seeking victims to drag into the underworld. The man didn't believe the stories, so he recorded his late-night trek through the cemetery. As he walked, something caught his eye. He shone his flashlight down the path and froze. A motionless figure of a woman stared at him from the darkness.
1, 2.
Heart racing, he ran straight toward it, but when he reached the spot and turned around, the figure had vanished. Moral of the story? There might be some truth to local legends. Cursed sleep. Some people struggled with sleepwalking, but this seemed far more disturbing. A homeowner's CCTV camera captured her wandering the house at night. She stormed into the kitchen, opened the fridge, and aggressively threw everything out. But that wasn't all the camera caught. A glass she set on the counter suddenly shattered on its own. In another clip, the rug on the floor shifted without anyone touching it. Folks online were unsettled, convinced the house was cursed by a spirit. Many even believed her strange behavior wasn't simple sleepwalking at all. but signs of possession. After all, who acts like that in their sleep? Wailing woman. A man was walking home from work late at night when he heard a chilling wail echo through the street. Curious, he followed the sound and discovered a woman sitting alone on a bench. She swayed her head back and forth violently, almost as if in a trance. Then, without warning, she snapped her head toward him, as though she sensed his presence. Suddenly, she rose and began chasing him. Terrified, he fled the scene without looking back. When the clip surfaced, people online were conflicted. Some claimed it was a ghost, while others believed it was La Llorona, the infamous dancing lady. Street witch. A street surveillance camera in Mexico captured something that unsettled locals. A robed woman appeared, moving with an unnatural speed. She was covered head to toe in a cloak and seemed to glide across the pavement, her motion almost mechanical, too smooth for normal walking. One resident kept encountering her and became convinced the figure was stalking him. He managed to grab photos that showed her standing at a distance, gesturing with her hands in a way that looked deliberate and directed at him. Word spread fast and people grew nervous. No one could explain who she was or what she wanted, and maybe it was better that way. Road witch. A man was driving late at night on a deserted road when he spotted a figure standing in the middle of the road. It was a woman, arms stretched wide as if signaling him to stop. He slowed down and tried to pass, but she kept moving into his path, even gesturing toward him in a way he couldn't understand. The man claimed he finally managed to get past her, but didn't dare step out of his car. Probably a smart move. Because what was a lone woman really doing there in the dead of night? Many believed it was no woman at all, but a witch luring him out. Haunted hospital. Surveillance cameras at a hospital recorded shocking footage that left viewers unsettled. The video showed a woman hunched over, her long hair covering her face, as she pointed directly toward a window. She then began making eerie hand gestures, almost as if trying to communicate with something unseen. Moments later, the clip cut to her sitting on the floor, her as though she were in a trance. Finally, she lay flat on the ground, completely still. Many believe she was battling something supernatural inside the hospital walls, while others were convinced she had become possessed by a dark presence. Demonic possession. A chilling video from a school in Pune, India, brought widespread attention as it showed a young girl in what many described as a terrifying state. Students and staff rushed to restrain her, trying to keep her safe as she screamed and thrashed uncontrollably. The scene grew more unsettling when she appeared to levitate briefly, her body twisting in unnatural ways. Witnesses claimed they had never seen anything like it before. While some argued it was a medical emergency, the original poster suggested she was possessed by a demon. Let me know what you guys think of this. Road mystery. A late-night drive turned into a nightmare for two friends as they traveled down a lonely road. On the side of the street, they were startled by a woman sitting there, moving her hands in the air erratically, as if chanting some kind of spell. What horrified them most was that she was completely drenched, yet the road was bone dry.
Stop. No, I'm not. No. Hell no.
What the f***, dude?
No.
Terrified, they circled back, only to find her bent strangely on the ground, still moving unnaturally. The next day, one of them returned to the spot and saw the ground was still wet, right beside a lake. Convinced she had crawled out from it, the question remains, was she even human?
Yep, she had to have come up out of the water. Yep, there's a dig spot there.
Broken figure. An explorer found an abandoned warehouse out in the middle of nowhere and decided to take a closer look. He didn't step inside at first. He froze at the open doorway, filming as something moved in the gloom. A humanoid shape was bent in ways a person couldn't be, its eyes glowing faintly in the dark. The way it moved was jerky and wrong, like a puppet pulled by invisible strings. The footage quickly spread online, leaving viewers freaked out, many calling it a skinwalker. Whatever it was, one thing was clear. That warehouse wasn't empty, and whatever lived there wasn't human. Dancing lady. A man was relaxing on his balcony when he noticed something strange. An old lady dancing in the street. Her movements were unsettling, just like the Serbian dancing lady, the one who chases you if you get too close. But then he saw something worse. Right in front of her, a figure in a black robe moved in perfect sync. It didn't look human at all. It almost felt like it was controlling her, making her match its every move. Door stare. A homeowner was terrified when his Ring camera recorded a woman approaching his door at 4 a.m. She stood close to the glass, peering in, then suddenly began shaking her head and making a biting motion with her mouth. Her eyes stayed wide, bulging as if ready to pop out, and the strange behavior continued for several minutes. The clip spread online and unsettled people. Some said she didn't look human, suggesting a skinwalker or other non-human entity, while others argued she might have been mentally unwell. Either way, the footage left people feeling deeply uneasy about who or what had come calling that night. Twisted face. A strange video caught people off guard when a woman was seen waiting for food at a street vendor's stall. The vendor had his head down, busy cooking, seemingly unaware of how unsettling the woman looked. Her small eyes rolled upward as if she were about to faint, but what horrified people most was her mouth, stretched unnaturally across one side of her face, twisting her expression into something inhuman. Many who saw the clip were convinced this was a skinwalker, struggling to maintain its disguise before pouncing on the unsuspecting man. Let me know your take on this. Mountain witch. A man was trekking through the mountains, hoping for a peaceful getaway, but what he got instead was pure terror. In the distance, he spotted a lone figure. At first, it looked like a robed person, maybe even a woman with curly hair. But the figure stood too far away for him to tell for sure. The unsettling part was that it seemed to be moving in some ritualistic manner. When the footage surfaced online, people were quick to speculate. Many were convinced it was a witch, since remote and isolated places like those mountains are said to be perfect for dark rituals.
No, esto tiene que ser una broma.
Upstairs face. 4 friends were home alone and enjoying themselves when they discovered they were not alone. While recording a video, something else moved into frame and was caught on camera. A face peeking down from upstairs, long hair hanging low. The face was gray and expressionless. The friends had no idea during the recording. They only saw the figure later when they reviewed the footage. The clip spread online, and people reacted with alarm. Some suggested it was a trapped spirit haunting the house. Others offered mundane explanations like a prank. Either way, the discovery left everyone unnerved and questioning what shared rooms might hide from curious strangers. Scottish witch. Scotland is no stranger to witches, and I guess even after the Great Scottish Witch Hunt, it seems like they continue to walk among us, or so this video suggests. Dressed in a red skirt and a black top with her hair hanging loose, this woman appeared to make strange movements, as if summoning a spirit, or maybe performing a ritual. Could she be a real-life witch? Caught on camera? Because if she's a regular person, one might ask, what was she doing out there? Tour's scary visit. A tourist staying in a hotel heard a strange noise outside. Curious, he walked to the window, and that's when he saw it. A black shadow sitting on a bus. At first it didn't seem real, but then the witchy figure began moving. When the footage reached the online community, gained attention. Some believed it was the Grim Reaper, coming to take him away. Others believe it was a shadow following him because that hotel was haunted. But with the ending abruptly, we could never know what it was. Haunted Road. A man was driving home when he noticed a girl sitting on a tree. At first, it seemed strange. How did she even get up there? Even upon looking closer, he was unable to see her features, but her unnatural movements were enough to scare him. She wasn't just a girl, but she was a ghost. After witnessing this, the man ran. Locals believe she was a bride-to-be who lost her life in a tragic accident on that very road. Her restless spirit is said to haunt the area. After that incident now, no one dares to drive there alone. Sky Witch.
Es un avión, es súper.
A video went viral on social media and even made the news. It showed something floating in the daytime sky. At first, just a distant shape, then clearly a humanoid figure suspended above the town. People debated furiously as the clip spread. The figure hovered and drifted with odd, deliberate motion, and folks quickly jumped to a conclusion. It looked like a witch flying on a broomstick. Skeptics argued that it might be a drone, but for many who watched, the image tapped into old fears and left the sky feeling suddenly less safe. Graveyard Girl. One evening in Arizona, a man filmed from his balcony and captured something that still unsettled viewers today. Across the street, in a cemetery, a barefoot girl dressed in white was wandering between the graves. He and a friend called out to her, but she never looked up.
She ain't look at us.
You're going the whole way. You scaring me. You really scaring me.
Never slowed down, just drifted deeper into the graveyard. Then, without warning, she was gone. Locals later said the description matched that of a young girl from the area who was never given a proper burial. Many believed her restless spirit was still wandering, searching for the peace she had been denied in life.
Yo, Mo, she's gone, Mo. Yo, Mo, she's gone.
Hopping Phantom. Villagers investigating a cornfield recorded something they could never unsee. At first, they noticed a figure dressed in white with long hair swaying in the night breeze. Assuming it was a woman who had lost her way, they cautiously approached. But then the figure did something that left them horrified. It began hopping away at an unnatural speed, its hair swinging side to side as it vanished into the darkness of the field. Shocked, the villagers fled. Many believed they had encountered a ghostly entity, while others thought it was something far darker. What do you think? Haunted site. A CCTV camera at a construction site captured something terrifying. At first, nothing stirred, but then a figure suddenly materialized at the doorway. It looked like a woman in a long white robe, her face hidden behind unkempt hair. Within moments, she vanished again. That's when two objects began to move on their own, as if pushed by unseen hands. The camera then picked her up a second time in another doorway, before she disappeared again. Many believe the site was haunted by a restless spirit, and the footage only fueled their fears that it was no ordinary place. Thank you very much for watching the video. Do like and share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to not miss any of the upcoming amazing videos. Thank you once again.